proficient lately in her nominations for ACEs. So we have another group of people that we want to recognize. Lynette Sertan. So we only clap if they're here. I get it. I get it. I get it. Alice Nilsson. Nope. Oh, Alice is here. Thank you, Alice. Oh, sorry. Rosalinda Morales. Tara Harper. Maribel Corona Ramirez. And Dustin Cheney. So what do all of these people have in common? Anybody know? You're all right, and they are nurses. This is what Kelly had to say about all of you. We would like to take a moment to recognize the nurses in our district who supported early learning above and beyond their work duties to fill in and cover our needs over the past few weeks. The early learning staff would like to thank and recognize the PSA school nurses. During the 6 weeks absence of the early childhood education school nurse, the PSA nurses willingly and enthusiastically stepped up to cover all of the medical needs of all of our district's youngest students. In addition to their already busy assignments, the PSA nurses assisted ECE in ensuring that all of the school nurses' responsibilities were covered. Additionally, Nurse Alice, Nurse Dustin, Nurse Maribel, Nurse Rosalinda, and Nurse Tara continued to support all of the special education assessments, preventing any further delays in initiating special education services. Their teamwork, dedication, and compassion are unparalleled. Thank you all for your excellence and for going above and beyond for our staff and students. Thank you to all of you for stepping up when there was a need. Not the first time, and no doubt not the last. So this came from the Paiute administrative team, and it is being presented to Carolina Zach, who is the admin secretary in human resources. She indicated to me that she's not big on awards, and so I will embarrass her gloriously tomorrow when I present her an ACES award, and this is what it says. The definition of above and beyond means going far above what is required by something such as a duty. Carolina did this and more. It is hard to put into words what an amazing person she is. She is always willing to go the extra mile and still does. She rises and performs beyond all expectations. Aside from doing an amazing job, she is a pleasure to work with. Carolina will always greet you with a smile and provide positive affirmations without being told to do so. Carolina, we thank you for being such an incredible person. Never forget, once a Paiute warrior, always a Paiute warrior. And I will tell you that Carolina worked at Paiute until January or February when she came to assume a new position in human resources. And she had huge shoes to fill in terms of Penny Baker and Rose Juarez, who served in that position before. And not only has she stepped up, but she's also gone back to Paiute to assist Paiute with the chores that she used to perform there as a categorical program specialist. So I'll make sure, in fact, Mike, I'm going to give you this. Please keep it under lock and key. Thank you, sir. Wow, that made me sad, that salute. And the last person that we're recognizing this evening is Marbella Flores. Kelly, you want to stand here? This Marbella came from Kelly as well. Marbella works as a credentials analyst in human resources, and we want to thank you for going above and beyond in this instance and all of them. This is what Kelly had to say. I wanted to take a minute to highlight Marbella for her relentless pursuit of excellence toward her work. She reminded me about my credential renewal. I assured her that it was on my radar And she went the extra step to reach out again and say, hey, don't forget you need to do that for your job. She actually saved me because I thought I had more time. If she had not sent me that reminder, I don't think I would have made the deadline to renew. Her watchful eye is not her job. It is her character, and I can't thank her enough. And Marbella, I can tell you from firsthand experience, I know that it's not in your nature to just check in once, but you check in over and over and over again because your heart is in serving the people who we put in positions to serve our children. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Thank you, Marbella. And I suspect that's more than enough for me this evening. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our recipients. Okay, now we're going to go. Well, once she gets back, I give her a couple seconds. She's got to take pictures and do the enrollment report. Rebecca.
All right, good evening, board. We had, at the last day of school, for our TK through 8th grade students, 14,002. For ECE, we had 734, for a total of 14,736. This is a loss of 68 from our last board report and a loss of 86 from the same time last year. Our homeless count at the end of school was 1,051 students. Our foster count was 502 students.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any other informational items? Okay, moving on to presentations, reports, proposals. We have the early learning year in review. Kelly, you're up again. You are popular tonight. You got some other people with you too.
Thank you. And then we're going to talk about the year in review for the UTK implementation as well. So we're going to start it off with quickly. So next slide.
There's something.
Learning. Oh, all right, here we go. So as part of our program, as a state preschool program, we have an annual self-evaluation that we go through that consists of 5 components. So family files, we review our family engagement and strengthening, our program quality, our administrative, and our fiscal audit. All right, so the first thing is our family files. We use a system called Hub, where all of our family's documents are put into this system, and emails, communication all goes through this system. So there's a lot of documents and it's a lot of work. You saw our family that had help. It's a little bit more than the traditional school sites. All right, family engagement and strengthening. There are a lot of opportunities for our families to engage in our program. We really believe in the importance of family engagement, and we offer weekly Wednesday workshops on a variety of topics for our families every Wednesday throughout the whole year. Great.
A lot shorter. Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me tonight. So moving on to the third area, if I can get this to work. There we go. Program quality. Our program is really based on play, as you know, with young children, 3 and 4-year-olds. They learn best through play, but through that play environment, we make sure we hit all of the learning domains. So we work on cognitive, we work on the physical, and we work a lot on social emotional with young children, because understanding and handling their emotions is a big part of being part of a school and being part of a group and being part of a learning environment. The other thing that we work on is the administrative part. Our administrative part, we're a data-driven program, which means that we actually use assessments to determine what we should be teaching and implementing within our classrooms. The 2 main ones that we use is the desired results developmental profile. That's an individual assessment that's done on each child in our program in the fall and the spring. Our teachers look at those results and then actually make goals of what they want to focus on in the classroom with our students. Another assessment that we use is ECHRS, which is the Early Childhood Environmental Rating Scale. The environment is such a critical part of how children engage. So we actually look at the environment and make sure that we incorporate into the environment all the things that will support learning. So the teachers, we do that. once again, look at their rating scales and off their rating scales, make goals of things that they want to work on to better support students within the environment. And then this year we actually did our last part of our audit, program review, I'm sorry, is our audit. We had an audit this year, and out of 22 areas, we only had 2 findings, which we felt that was pretty good. So the 2 areas that we had findings in, one was our parents are required to sign in and sign out every time they drop off their children. When they were signing in and out, they were actually just using initials instead of full signatures. So we had to actually, part of our requirement as being in the state preschool program is to have full signatures. So we've adjusted that, made sure staff was checking for that, and then we've been randomly checking as parents are signing in and out to make sure we're getting those full signatures. The other area was something that we were not aware of, but was brought to our attention by the auditor. We are now giving out a survey to all our parents of any resources or support that they may need during in their lives. Anything from housing, food, tutoring, recreation activities. So we've actually started a survey. The parents fill that out. We touch base with the parents, give them some resources, and then we follow up to make sure those resources actually provided the support that they needed, and if there are any other resources they might need. In order to implement that, that's a big project with all of our families. We hired a family ambassador that is actually the key person to be touching base with those families and making sure they're getting the supports they need. All right, thank you so much for your time. Yes.
On this slide,
Yes.
in parentheses, oh, those are, that's just a code that the state uses. It's underlined in red. Is that what you're talking about? That's just a code for the EEDs. This is a picture of Carino. Enrica, she's our family ambassador. She's fabulous. She just started a couple of weeks ago. So now we're going to switch over to the year in review for UTK. We worked on UTK when we heard from the state that the 4-year-olds were going to get an education that looks like preschool. We were all about that because we know very well what preschool should look like. So we started with that steering committee, and the results of the steering committee came to fruition this year when we worked on 4 main areas with our UTK children and our staff. We worked on the learning environment, curriculum, assessment, and a child-centered focus. We started with basically gutting the classroom. So we had a big team of people who worked on this, including our partner from Lakeshore. Facilities was key in making sure that all that information or all that equipment was moved out of those rooms. We took everything that looked like a traditional classroom out, and we started with a blank space. So that picture on the right-hand side is a picture of me with 1,500 boxes behind us that came in from Lakeshore. We had to sort and then redistribute out with the help of facilities to get out to those classrooms. We then got to a classroom that looked like that, a pile of boxes in a classroom, and we transformed each of those spaces in 14 classrooms initially and then had to add 5 more because enrollment had increased. So 19 total classrooms. We transformed those into play-based environments with ECHRS compliant play spaces, which included dramatic play, a sensory center, math manipulatives, a library area. And then we had sometimes when we were in setting up those rooms, we had some visitors, and Mr. Denning, this is a PDF, so you won't be able to see the video, but Mr. Denning came in and said he wanted to just spend the rest of his time in that classroom playing with those kids. So he recorded a quick little welcome to UTK, I can't wait for you to be here video. And the classrooms were transformed, not overnight, it was a lot of sweat and tears, but we got it done. And then we welcomed over 408 UTK children in the fall. We worked with staff on a curriculum plan that looked different than anything they had seen before. We took out all of the publisher curriculum and we replaced it with the preschool learning foundations and curriculum framework and the DRDP, an assessment that's observation-based. So I just have to pause here for a second and say, if it wasn't for the UTK teachers who bought into this process, we would not have had the implementation that we did. We didn't just take their cheese, we removed it and replaced it with a gluten-free option and asked them to work with that cheese. And they did. And I am very proud to be the person in our team that was able to support them in that work. We did offer them and administrators a 30-hour boot camp, which they attended in August, which covered all of the components of the program. But even with that training, they didn't know exactly what it would look like until those little babies showed up. So when we worked with them on how to observe them, we taught them about the DRDP. We used a program that we partner with a company called Learning Genie, which is a early childhood company that works on reporting that data that we use to assess children directly to the state. And we determined, well, the children in UTK did amazing. They all ended the year exactly where they should have been, if not better, building middle or later, which is the band that you want them in by the time they go off to kindergarten. These are just reports that look at the different learning domains that we assessed in the DRDP throughout the school year. They did it twice, once in the fall. And when I tell you they're doing observational notes, it's not 1 or 2 per child. It's about 6,000 notes per rating period, per classroom. They worked really hard. They learned an entire new process. They learned a whole new pedagogy, and they assessed the children and got them to where they needed to be ready for kindergarten in the fall. This spring, we worked on a pacing guide that is common, and it is under construction, so that's why you'll see that up there. But the children across the district will be working on similar themed units for periods of time. The staff decided to go with seasons that look at quarters. So they'll have a different season in each quarter. And under each of those seasons, there are different themed things like All About Me or things that change in the environment. We are adding Heggerty because we saw that in the area of phonemic awareness and phonological awareness, children are still not where they need to be ready to read in kindergarten. So we're adding Heggerty next in August. There is on the board agenda tonight, you'll see the approval for our Heggerty professional development. So all teachers will go through Heggerty this summer. And at the end of the day, what we are the most proud of is that we created child-centered focused classrooms. When you saw children in the UTK classrooms, they were happy, they were engaged, they were loving their teachers and having a great time. There's still much more to do in the work, and we are excited about what we'll be able to offer them next year. And I just want to highlight that this didn't just happen in the indoor classroom. This happened in the outdoor classroom. The credentialed teachers went outside with the children and spent that time outside with them because that is part of the learning environment as well. Last thing I'm going to say to you is that we are going to roll out next year the CSPP braided with UTK that allows us to reduce the ratio in the classroom and add additional CSPP staff that will support the ratio of 1 to 8 in the classroom. And that's it. Any questions?
All right. Any questions?
Yeah. They were looking at butterflies.
Larva.
Before it's a butterfly, it's a pupa.
All right. Any other questions? Besides the bugs, anything? Emma, you good? All right. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate your presentation. Look like you guys do a great job. Okay, I guess we're going to do a public hearing, local control and accountability plan. A public hearing will be held at this time concerning the proposed local control and accountability plan for the year ending in June 30, 2024. We're going to open the hearing at 6:31. Jordan, Jordan, you're already there. Boom. I'm looking down to right and boom. Okay, go ahead.
Opportunity to be able to current plan looks like moving into have a significant amount of positive change that we're looking to try to be able to make happening or moving into the next school year. And I want to show you what the plan is going to look like. I'm going to remind you of a little bit of information that we provided in the previous board meeting when we did the annual update. At that particular time, that's when we provided you with much of the data. You were able to see some of our CASP data at that particular point, then our iReady data, some of our U2 scores. So you were able to really be able to dig into some of those places of where we've been. And now this is the opportunity for us to say, okay, so this is where we've been, and this is where we are moving forward, and what our plans are for the next school year. So I'm looking forward to being able to provide this. So the purpose of this particular meeting is to share the vision for the local control and accountability plan. We still have the opportunity to be able to make some switches, some changes, and be able to make some things happen if we need to be able to do so. We've been told by LACO right now that our program plan is relatively solid, is very solid moving into the next moving into the next school year. We're now currently working with their budget departments to be able to make sure that our things are solid on that particular end as well. So at this particular point, my goal tonight is to be able to just to show you what this plan is looking like moving forward. So what is the LCAP? I want to remind everybody in the building and everybody in the audience right now of what the LCAP actually is. This is the plan. The local control and accountability plan is the plan that encompasses all other plans throughout the district. So all plans that we have throughout the district actually originate with the strategic plan and build into the LCAP, which makes the strategic plan makes it operational, and then builds down into all of our school plans and into all of our other pieces. So everything in our district, the way we've set it up, is put it in is in such a way that it originates from what the particular goals of the actual LCAP are. So you should see that every goal and that any other plans that we have come back to that local control and accountability plan. So I want to remind the board and the rest of the community of some of the work that's been done thus far. You can see the list of meetings that we've had with either staff or with families, community, students, and along with our local our special or SELPA, our local control area for our special education as well. We've met with students. We've done many focus groups. We've had conversations with We've had conversations with every ASB student as well as students who are not in ASB to be able to have the opportunities to be able to really get the student feedback and understand where the students are coming from with what they're looking for inside of their schools. I want to remind the board that the LCAP actually encompasses these 8 main state priorities from the state of California, all under either conditions of learning, engagement, or focusing in those particular areas. So we talk about basic services, implementation of state standards, which really fall into how we're going to support students in their learning. Engagement, which focuses how we're going to be able to provide for both parent involvement, but not just parent involvement, but the idea of building school climate, as well as also building in student engagement, meaning that we're trying to get kids to show up to school. Other areas of student achievement and other student outcomes are also other areas of which we have some significant wanting to make sure that we're focusing on. Student achievement is our local assessments, as well as our state assessments, our CASP assessments, where we're getting scores back up for now. Our other student outcomes turn into our other areas of how we're seeing students from the perspective of how we're providing providing students with the materials that they need to be able to do the work that they need to be able to that they are going to need to be able to be more successful. I want to remind the board that we've nestled our local control and accountability plan in the idea of the multi-tiered systems of support. Our goal here, making sure that all of our students are given the opportunity to be successful. You've seen this slide a couple different times. I like to bring it back just to make sure that we're understanding that we are not just addressing one type of student, and especially in Lancaster, we never are addressing just one type of student. We are addressing all students in our city and all the students that we serve. That whole idea of the multi-tiered systems of support actually fits in with this idea of equity being at the core, meaning that we provide an integrated systemic approach to meeting the needs of all students. And again, this originated, I believe, with our special ed department, really focusing on that idea of all means all. Well, we've taken it to a full district standpoint to make sure that we're focusing on all means all and making sure that every student gets met. Also, the idea of becoming a guide. This is the guiding framework for school improvement. Big ideas to which what we do is making sure that we're focusing and building in our systems so that it's not just something we do, but it's a way that we do things and how we nestle everything that we do. With that said, these are the goals that we are continuing into the 23-24 school year. The first goal, all around both our mission and vision of options and excellence. But that first goal talks about academics. That's that idea that every student will demonstrate continuous growth towards mastery from the common California state standards. Equitable learning practices and positive learning environments, ensuring that our students have good, solid places in which they're able to learn, safe places in which they're able to learn. This is where we nestle, and you'll see some of the detail as to what each one of these goals has in it currently and what we're looking to where we're trying to move. We have safe and supportive environments. This is that area that talks about how we're getting our kids to school. One of the main metrics that we have in this particular area really focuses around attendance and making sure students are attending to school. Family and community engagement. How are we working with our families to be able to make them part of the system as opposed to being outside of the system? We really want to make sure that they're involved in what's going on. Universal transitional kindergarten, we continue this goal. We've had conversations ad nauseum with our friends at the county office. We are maintaining this goal into this year as we are getting ready to close this goal and be able to wrap all of these actions into our other goals so that we can keep this this UTK piece as a sustainable action or a sustainable set of actions moving forward. And based upon our differentiated assistance status, we were put in a position where we had to provide for a goal for a specific population. This particular population that we were identified for in the 23-24 school year was our homeless students. This one is going to be an interesting one because it's going to focus on, as opposed to us focusing solely in the academic arena with our homeless students, we recognized after doing some deep analysis that one of the deep root cause was that the big issue that we have with our homeless students is really making sure that they're in school. We know it's our theory of action that if a student comes to school, that student is going to be successful in school. We can get them to be successful and get them to learn. Our issue, the opportunity that's presented to us in this situation is the fact that we have the opportunity to be able to provide for various aspects of helping our homeless students be able to get to school at a more regular basis. And if we do that, it's our belief that we will truly be able to see if we'll be able to affect positive change, but not only in the student's life, but in the family as a whole, with providing resources. So with that said, these are some of the details to the actions that we're looking to try to support. I'm going to point out a couple of the big ticket items that we're really looking to focus on. Under equitable learning practices and positive learning environments, a couple of pieces that we're really focusing on, this is that culturally relevant PBIS that we're really trying to focus on. Really making sure that when we're looking at positive behaviors, incentives and supports, or interventions and supports, that what we're really focusing on is the idea that we are going to really work on students being able to make this good environments for kids to feel that, so the kids feel good when they're in their classrooms. We want to make sure that, because we know when kids are liking school, that they're more likely to continue to show up to school and they're more willing to learn. Our counseling services is a huge piece out of this particular goal, as well as our culturally responsive training and working with our teachers in those areas through our equity department. Expanded learning opportunities is also huge. I believe many of you were at an event on Saturday. This is where this is coming from, so that we can be able to provide from this particular area, as well as from our ELOP grant as well. One of our first goals, you'll notice I don't put these goals in any order because we really don't want any one of these goals to supersede any other goal. We believe that all the goals are equal in nature and status and what we're trying to accomplish. Under the academic piece, obviously,
see the bottom row.
oh, so when we're looking at our academic piece, leadership development remains something that we're going to focus on significantly, as well as early literacy, professional development as a whole, as well as the implementation of high quality PD for our English language development. We want to make sure that that's a focus moving forward into the next LCAP in the final year of this LCAP. Under our family and community engagement, probably one of the goals that's most near and dear to my heart. We get into the idea of building strong and solid relationships with our families and making sure that we're bringing our families in, but not just in the process of just working with them during parent-teacher conferences, but being able to get information from them, that top tier type of parent involvement where parents are giving us and providing us with the information we need to be able to make the systems in our schools better. This is where we talk about our family ambassadors being a significant resource for us to be able to really do that work. You've seen our family ambassadors do awesome work in Lancaster School District. It's probably one of the strongest things that we've done over the years, and they're an awesome set of human beings that just do the work and they're in it. Dual capacity and building a dual capacity family engagement framework in which what we're doing is we're not just working with the staff, we're not just working with the parents, but we're also working with the staff and engaging the parents. Under our safe and supportive environments, we focus on the idea of, this is where we're talking about where we have playworks, we have situations where we try to make the schools a safer place for our kids to be able to learn. This is where we talk about our safe facilities, our areas for safe schools, safe facilities, support personnel, adding personnel to be able to support our systems to make sure that our kids remain safe. Under UTK, our Universal Transitional Kindergarten Goal, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one because you've already heard a significantly awesome presentation from Ms. Fountain. Dr. Fountain, almost Dr. Fountain. Not yet, but I'm going to call her Dr. Fountain as it is. Who's done some awesome work in being able to build this particular thing. You see this reflected in that presentation. This is what the LCAP was a piece of being able to help that to happen. And then finally, this is our support for homeless students. Again, the goal is homeless students will demonstrate progress towards increasing attendance in the areas of connectedness as a result of SEL support and services provided. So the idea here that we're really focusing on building in social emotional services with our homeless students.
So what about school of origin?
School of origin is going to be something that that's law.
Right.
So we're going to have to maintain that. We maintain our students. being able
That
to
we
get-
found in my
Yeah.
former career was the absolute success point.
Absolutely. And we also have explored the idea of focusing on working in transportation for our kids as well. Here we're talking about engaging families, outreach and identification, as well as attendance support through our family ambassadors, and really refocusing a lot of the work that we have. When you see right now, what you have in front of you, because at this point, what you have in front of you is the local control and accountability plan as we move this plan forward. On June 20th, we are going to bring the plan to you for approval within its final form, with all of its final pieces in place, with all of the I's dotted, T's crossed, ready to go and ready to move forward. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I am here to.
Okay. Go ahead, Diane, and then Dwayne.
Will we get a report with the LCAP with the budget beside it? Remember how?
Oh, yeah.
That's the piece I need.
Yeah, so that will come at the actual, you'll be getting that with the LCAP.
Thank you.
So
Dwayne?
Jordan, the attendance support, are the family ambassadors from schools going to visit the families of homeless, the foster children,
So
to help them with their, it's like we found in the past, a lot of families don't have computer access. They don't have ways to get their studies or work.
items to be able to get their work.
So I wondered if our ambassadors, and I agree with you, the ambassadors was the greatest program, I think, to come from this school district. They are fantastic. They do a great job. But do they actually go out to the locations?
So as of current, we don't have the actual home visit. We have done home visits in the past. We've also experienced some issues with home visits. That doesn't mean, it doesn't preclude the fact that it couldn't happen. But we do work with the family ambassadors on how they can receive students in the schools and really be able to focus on doing that outreach, making those phone calls, making sure that they're connecting with the families. Because we know that when we connect with the families, that the likelihood of them being able to get their kids to school exacerbated. We know it's gonna happen. Or it's going to happen to a higher degree. We also have experienced that there's other issues that our homeless students are experiencing. And, obviously there's the trauma of at times being homeless that we have to address as well. That's where we hit that SEL measure, the social emotional measure. We really need to focus on really understanding and focusing on this, on our second step curriculum, making sure we're doing the SEL in the classroom, but not just making it a part of the day, but making it something that's happening throughout the school day.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Jordan. Appreciate your presentation.
Your 129 pages so far.
Okay, I guess at this point, we will close the hearing at 6:46. And we will open up a public hearing concerning the proposed budget for the year ending June 30th, 2024. And we're going to open that one at 6:46. Anybody want to speak to the LCAP before we move on? Nobody's running into a thing, so Larry, you're on.
Really the Isabel show. So here comes our guest of honor.
Good evening. We're here to present the 23-24 budget hearing. So the first thing next one, please. There you go. You guys hear me? Yes. Okay, so that's the agenda that comes from the board priorities to the questions and answers. You guys have a copy of the presentation. Okay, so the board priorities are from building high quality educational programs that meet the unique needs and interests of all students, to maintaining positive certification and fiscal solvency. And I will walk you through how we actually budget according to LCAP to support our LCAP. So this is the cost of living adjustment. This is based on the May revision to the governor's budget. We heard that it was going to be funded at 8.22 for 23-24, and there's projections to drop by 4.28 on the next fiscal year, leaving us at 3.94, and then dropping again by 0.65, leaving us at 25.26. We believe, well, it was aided by CDE and School Services of California, that there's a possibility that COLA is not going to be fully funded. So I budgeted really conservative, utilizing the first COLA that was published on the first proposal from the governor, which is 8.10. If it materializes at 8.22, then when I do the 45-day revision to the budget, it will be adjusted, and I will be presenting that. The district average daily attendance, these are good news. So this is based, it's from 15-16 to 22-23, is based on P2, certified P2 numbers for attendance. As you can see, we went down from 1920, when the pandemic was here, all the way to 21-22. And then this fiscal year that we're closing, we actually gained 257 ADA, 257 students are coming to school. So that represents about $4 million in revenue for us. So those are good news. Okay, we also learned on the governor's proposal and May revision that we still qualify to use a 3-year average calculation for the ADA. And we also qualify to use a traditional ADA calculation. I just wanted to represent here so you can see the difference. Normally, in prior years, we could have used this fiscal year P2 and last fiscal year P2 and utilize the one that is at a higher, which it'll be 12,477. Due to the tool that they're making available for us to utilize 3-year average, we can actually use 12,732 ADA. That's what we're going to be funded at. That represents a 3.7 million. So we still use that, and we are hoping that it will continue. Our revenues are budgeted at 264,032,000. This is all in millions. We know our big revenues are coming from the LCFF base is 139 million. Supplemental and concentration combined are 57 million. Federal, 18 million. See how we dropped the federal from before? And then state, 38.9 million. The state took a big increase because we have a grant. We actually received 2 grants. We're not sure that we're going to be able to keep all of the money due to the governor's budget, but we budget as very conservative. And then we have the local state at 38.9, and then the local at 11.41. Local, remember, is special ed, SELPA. There's a little increase on SELPA, so that's why we have 11.41 million. Our expenditures, budgeted expenditures, are 264.68, is very similar to the revenue. It just has 0.30 something, so it's less than 500,000 on a deficit. Our certificated salaries are budgeted at 88.28 million, classified 39.7. Employee benefits for both of the buckets are 59.5 million. Books and supplies, 16.5 million. Services, 46.7. Capital outlay, 10.8 million. And other outgoing, 3.2 million. The other outgoing is the excess cost for SELPA for special ed students. Now the projected changes for STIRS and PERS. I would like my boss to talk about this one.
PERS is going up. No big surprise there. STIRS by law cannot exceed 19.1%. So the legislature would actually have to vote to increase that. And of course, they modify these numbers. They're looking at the long-term picture, multiple years of earnings on PERS and STIRS to determine the GASB 46 requirement to make sure that these funds are fully accounted for and fully funded. So we're not surprised to see STIRS continue to inch up. And if the stock market goes down, this will inch up faster.
To alleviate that, we have assignments for future liabilities in STIRS and PERS. So now I'm going to go over with you on the multi-year projection. The first year, which is fiscal year 23-24, we have a total available funds of $376.44 million. Our total budgeted expenditures are $264.68. That is leaving us with an ending fund balance on the first fiscal year of $111.76 million. Out of that, those $111.76 million, $89.49 million are restricted. And then we have an assignment for textbook adoption of 2.25, an early literacy commitment for 1 million, and then STIRS and PERS for 3 million. The reserve for economic uncertainties on the first year is 16.02 million, which represents 6.05% available reserve. The middle year, which is 24-25, we have a total available funds of 353.50 million, and we have a total expenditures budgeted at 239.03, increasing our ending fund balance to 114.47. Out of those 114.47 million, 92.9 million are restricted. And then we have a textbook adoption commitment for 2.25 million, early literacy commitment for 1 million, STIRS and PERS again for 3 million, leaving us with a reserve for economic uncertainties of 15.32 million, which represents 6.41% as a reserve. Our third year out, which is 25-26, our total available funds are 363.78 million. Our total expenditures, budgeted expenditures, are 242.5 million. Our ending fund balance then increased to 121.28 million. Out of that, 95.14 million are restricted. 2.25 million is textbook adoption committed. 3.1 million committed in technology replacement. 1 million to early literacy commitment. 3 million to STIRS and PERS. 2 million for playground replacement, and 3 million for UTK classroom building. So that's leaving us 11.79 million as a reserve for economic uncertainties, representing at 4.86% available reserve on the third year out. Positive certification, district will meet 3% step required reserve all 3 years. Any questions so far? This is my baby. It's good? Okay. The assumptions, maintaining fiscal solvency and monitoring deficit spending from the district prioritizing and allocates resources effectively to support all goals while maintaining fiscal responsibility and building fiscal sustainability. The staffing and analysis, which it's included on the fiscal solvency plan that you guys approved, and that is attached to the book. And what is not included in the multi-year projection is the new expanded programs or services for underperforming and at-risk students, the technology loss and replacement, the impact from negotiations, and the state budget adoption. Supplemental and concentration requirements, as we've been knowing for the past year, we have to provide now more services, achieve more, and tracking carryover. And this is because we're building the LCAP, and we're combining the budget and the LCAP at the same time are building. We collaborate, Jordan and me all the time. Our unduplicated percentage increased from 89.41 to 90.28. As we know, the unduplicated percentage is the English learners, low income, and foster youth.
Excuse me, Isabel, what is on that previous slide, what is SES students?
social economic status, yes. Okay, so the 23-24 tentative general fund LCAP budget by goal. So these are I budgeted on goal 1, 152.62 million. On goal 2, which is culture, 18.64 million. On goal 3, which is climate, 42.84 million. Goal 4, engagement, 12.22 million. And goal 5, universal TK, 1.79 million. Any questions?
Ray, go ahead.
Yeah, just had a question about like building maintenance and like replacing carpets, that kind of thing. Is that built into the budget or how does that?
Yes. The outgo, if we can go back, please, to the beginning. Where's the expenditures? Budget, there you go. The expenditures budget, there you go. See the capital outlay, 10.8 million? That's what it is.
Okay.
Yes. And also the HVAC. Remember we had an assignment? Yes, we're budgeting right now. It is included.
Any other questions? Anybody down there got questions? It's a public hearing. This is your time. Okay, hearing none. Thank you so much for your presentation. I guess we will close the hearing at 6:58. Thank you. All right, so I guess at this point, we'll move on to item 13, individual action items. Superintendent, we have the adoption of resolution 2022-2328, board member compensation for a missed meeting for Greg Teepee on May 16th, 2023. I need a motion. Moved by Mr. Nguyen, second by Ms. Starlson. All in favor? Opposed? Actually, 4 and 1 abstention. All right, I guess we can get Mr. Teepee back. We have item 14, which would be individual action items, adoption of resolution number 2022-2329 regarding approving uncommitted fund balance for HVAC replacement phase 4. Anybody want to make a motion? Moved by Mrs. Grooms, second by Mr. Nguyen. Questions, concerns, clarifications? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0. We have adoption of resolution 2022-2330 designating certain central funds as committed fund balance. Moved by Mr. Nguyen. Second by Mrs. Grooms. Questions, concerns, clarifications?
Explain that, Larry.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the agenda here to get the specific, but
I forgot. I read it.
so if you recall, there's that statute that nobody from fiscal likes, which said when certain trigger points are reached in the state's economy, it basically says that districts cannot have a reserve higher than 10%.
Right.
And we are in that phase. We are in the, I believe, year 2 or year 3 of having to do that. We think that's going to sunset maybe in the next year. So what we do as a district as part of the strategy is the board through action commits certain funds to basically say, this is not part of the reserve. We have earmarked this money for specific projects, and then it comes out of that reserve line and doesn't impact the reserve. So we used the strategy successfully last year, and we have many different things that we commit fund balances for.
Okay. Thank you for the
So
explanation.
it's committed funds.
By board action, that is correct. Right. Which takes board action then to uncommit them if we decide to go a different direction.
We're not just moving shells around. Okay. Got it. Anybody else got questions? All right. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, I think we're on item, well, there's another item on this. It's C. Approve adoption of resolution 2022-2331 education protection account EPA requirements for the 2022-23 school year. Use a motion. Moved by Mr. Teepee. Second by Mr. Nguyen. Questions, concerns, clarifications?
Just think you shouldn't use EPA. I think that one's taken.
Yeah, seems like it is. All right. Any more questions, shout outs? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Adoption of resolution number 2022-23-30 32, temporary interfund cash borrowing. Moved by Mr. Teepee, seconded by Mrs. Grooms. This one I understand, but it took a while. Do you have any questions, Pamela, on this one? Yes, all right, Larry, I'll let you explain it.
This is a mechanism that I think every district in the state of California takes advantage of this. And what it basically says is that although our different funds, we've got O1, which is the general fund, but we also have the cafeteria fund, early childhood education, different funds that have different purposes. What this allows us to do is temporarily borrow from one fund to fill the need in another fund. And you would usually do this if you were running into a cash flow issue. And because the money that we get from the state doesn't come in nice, even chunks. And a lot of times districts get in trouble in the summer when the chunks get the smallest, but we still have payroll obligations. We can borrow from the CNS fund to temporarily meet that need. This resolution allows that. Of course, we do have to pay it back within that same, I think within the same fiscal year, but that allows us flexibility. Very rarely do we actually take advantage of this, but this gives us the window open.
Yep, that one always got me when I knew you'd have a question. All right, any other questions, concerns? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, we have item E, adoption of resolution 2022-23-33, temporary transfers from the school pools fund maintained by the LA County Treasurer. Moved by Mr. Teepee, seconded by Mr. Nguyen. Questions, concerns, clarifications?
It's under the same.
Very similar. Districts will always preload this every fiscal year. And basically what it says is if we run into a cash issue that's so severe that interfund borrowing doesn't work, we can go to the county and take a loan at a very low interest rate. And they make that available to all districts within the county.
Didn't they used to call that something else, like a trans or?
It is a trans. It's a trans sponsored by the county.
Okay. Okay. All right. That one I had a lot of problem with too but yeah, it looks like we understand it now. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. And we are pulled item F, is that correct?
Item F has been pulled.
Okay, so now we'll move on to item 15, individual action items, human resources. We have approval of assistant principal.
And with your permission, I'm going to defer to Mike Davis tonight, as all of the people that we're bringing to board will be working in the 23-24 school year, when Mr. Davis will be the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources.
Might
Mike,
as well get used to it.
all is yours.
Okay.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, get that thing way up there, way up there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Got my clicker ready. There's nothing up here, but I'll move myself along. All right. So the first board or person we want to bring to you tonight for approval is Julia Kern.
All right. All right. I need a motion and a second before we get too excited. Okay. Let's motion by Mrs. Grooms, second by Mr. Nguyen. Okay. Now you can say something or whatever. Or should we vote? Yeah, you should say something, then we'll vote. Yeah, let's do that.
Go first.
Yes.
So Julia comes to us from Linda Verde as a sped teacher. She's been in education for 6 years. She has educational accomplishments of receiving the Outstanding Leadership Award in a master's program, and she graduated with a 4.0 GPA. She is most proud of students from the start of the year to the end of the year, and also she loves to provide service for others, travel in Europe, eat American food, and enjoys cats and reading.
All right.
Yeah, would you like to say something?
Yes. Can't hear you back there.
Different role.
Put it up too high. You can pull it down.
Yes, so I'm really happy that the position was offered to me and I gladly accept. I'm really looking forward to serving the district in a different role. And I'm also very happy that I brought three of my friends with me today who will later celebrate with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, with that, I guess we better vote. All in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion passes 5-0. So you are officially hired. Okay.
Okay. We're supposed to vote first moving forward.
Yeah, it's okay. You know what? I'm going to go with it. It doesn't really, we'll go with it.
All right, the second candidate, Andre Jones from New Vista Middle School. He is currently, wait, you're supposed to vote first. Right.
No, that's fine. Yeah, hold on there. Okay, now I'll get a motion. Moved by Mr. Nguyen, second by Mr. Teepee. Now you can talk and then we'll vote. Then after we vote, then introduce the family maybe. Just to make
Okay.
sure in case it goes bad.
He is a principal at Sandburg Middle School in Glendora. He's been in education for 24 years. He's been a biology teacher and held the following chair positions: science chair, ASB, GATE, school site council, and CELT chair. He loves serving kids, and when he was a 7th grade science teacher, he met his future godson. He loves to travel to meet people, understand cultures, and experience food.
All right. All right. Should we vote now and then talk about it? Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and vote and then he can introduce anybody. We'll see if he makes it or not. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Welcome and carry on.
Ooh.
Thank you. Welcome. Okay, I think you got it now. Now we're going to do item C, approval of assistant principal.
All right, assistant principal, Paiute Middle School, Denisha Tyler. Oh, I forgot. She is on vacation in Florida, but watching us online.
Okay, well, let's get a motion in a second. Okay, all right. We need a motion.
Second?
Okay, we'll go with the motion from Mr. TP, Paiute, second from Mr. Nguyen, I believe. Okay, go ahead.
Denisha is a 6th grade teacher at Endeavor Middle School. She's been in education for 22 years. She's been the grade level chair and the admin intern extraordinaire. She's raised 3 amazing daughters, 22, 15, 6. She has a super supportive husband and is a role model for kids. And she loves shopping, relaxing, and travel.
Travel's obvious. She's already in Florida. Okay, with that, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations. It's already like 9:10 there. Yeah. She can go out for ice cream. It's probably warmer there. Okay. All right. Item D, we have approval of assistant principal.
Cheryl Gayfield. She'll be placed at Amargosa Creek Middle School. And she comes from to us from Mariposa as an intervention teacher, has been in education for 16 years, has a master's in administration, loves serving her students, and enjoys family, reading, and pottering around her yard.
Okay, well, let's do a motion. Anybody want a motion? Moved by Mrs. Grooms?
So this is the one that we wanted to make effective July 18th.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Did anybody give me a second? I didn't.
Yes, second.
Okay, Dwayne Nguyen seconds. Okay, and this is going to be effective July 18th. Okay, with that, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, item E.
And our last candidate at Endeavor Middle School is Scott Otis.
Mike, would you like to introduce her?
Yeah, let's do that.
Cheryl.
It's okay, we got a lot. Yeah, Cheryl, yes. Okay. See if she's got anybody she wants to introduce. Thank you so much.
All right.
Sorry, that's my fault. I'm moving along pretty good. So, all right, item E is approval of assistant principal.
Lastly, we have Scott Otis, who will be at Endeavor Middle School. He comes to us from Janesville School District. He's a TOSA and 6th grade teacher. He's been in education for 20 years, has 2 master's degrees, 1 in education and administration, holds 3 teaching credentials, is most proud of a 24-year marriage, is a 3rd-generation educator, and loves community service. And lastly, he likes nature hikes, artificial intelligence, and photography.
Nice. Okay. Need a motion.
Yes.
We have Mr. Teepee.
Okay.
Second?
Second by Mr. Nguyen. Okay. Go ahead and we're going to vote first, then talk about him. Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed 5-0. Okay. Welcome. And now you can enter. Yeah. Scott's brought his wife. Thank you. Welcome. Right. Okay. Are you done, Mike? Okay. I guess we're going to do this the rest of it by ourselves. Approval of provisional internship permit for the 2023-2024 school year. Moved by Mr. Nguyen. Second by Mr. Teepee. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
This one.
You on the wrong?
On the wrong page.
Okay. All right. Are we to the part of addressing the board? Well, that's what I'm gonna go with then. Okay, we're gonna, individuals who wish to address the board may complete a speaker card and present it and any supporting documents to the deputy superintendent or other district official prior to the start of the meeting. Personal information such as student/parent/guardian's name, address, phone number, date of birth, email address, or other directory information as identified as defined in Education Code 49061 may be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting a written request to the superintendent. The board president shall recognize individuals who wish to speak. Individuals wishing to present testimony to the board concerning specific items on the agenda may do so once that item has been moved, seconded, and is on the floor for discussion. Time limits of 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per item shall be allowed, and board members may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and no discussion may take place on an item not on the posted agenda. And at this time, we'll take comments from PTA, CSEA, TAL. 1, 2, 3. Okay, comments from the audience.
Our first comment is from Stephanie Andrews.
Hello. Yes.
Thank you. From Monte Vista Elementary, and I am actually here on behalf of one of my parents. They sent me this letter to read to you all tonight because they unfortunately cannot make it here due to work obligations. To school board, I hope this email finds you well. I am writing to you as the parent of my son currently enrolled at Lancaster School District, Monte Vista Elementary. I would like to request that my son be granted permission to utilize the school bus service for his daily commute to and from school. Recently, our circumstances have shifted, making it challenging for us to ensure a reliable and safe means of transportation for him. As you can appreciate, secure and dependable transportation is crucial for consistent school attendance and overall academic performance. Regrettably, we recently had an unsettling incident when my son was returning home from school with his mother. While the situation didn't escalate, it has indeed amplified our concerns regarding my son's safety during his commute. Moreover, his mother is unable to drive, and we have been using Uber as an alternative. However, this has been putting significant strain on our family budget, and we are finding it increasingly difficult to maintain. We are aware that the district school bus service adheres to the highest safety standards, offering a safe environment for children during their commute. Knowing that my son is traveling securely under the care of the school district's transportation service would give us significant peace of mind. We believe that having access to this service will not only benefit my son, providing him with consistent, secure transportation, it will also allow him to concentrate more on his studies rather than worrying about the logistics of his daily commute. We are willing to comply with any procedural requirements needed to facilitate this request and assure you of our full cooperation. Thank you for considering our request. We have full faith in the school district's commitment to student safety and are hopeful that you will be able to assist us in ensuring our secure commute for my son. We eagerly await your response and are available for any further discussion on this matter. Thank you. And I would just like for context to let you know that he does live just outside of the school bus zone. So he doesn't qualify for the school bus. And, I have tried to give him other resources But of course, it's kind of too close for the city bus too. It would take longer, the commute would take longer for that. So, this is kind of his reach out to maybe extend the school bus route or, take it into consideration.
All right. Well, thank you so much for bringing that to us. Do you have all the, you guys have all the information you need?
We'll make sure we follow up and get all the information
right.
and look into the situation.
All right. Thank you so much. Any other ones?
So we have Maria Esmeralda Isho.
Welcome.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Good evening. My name is Maria Ishu, and I'm a licensed vocational nurse. Up until the last 2 weeks of school, I was looking forward to making my site better for the upcoming school year. Like many of my fellow classified employees, I've found myself at a crossroad between making the choices of continuing to work for the district or looking for employment elsewhere. I had hopes for the better Monte Vista next school year because I had plans to reach out to the families of close to 850 students to help improve student achievement and attendance by promoting health awareness through Hazel Telehealth Services. On top of my regular job duties as a nurse, I was hopeful to continue to build the trust of our community that their children are safe within our campuses. With the help of our amazing health clerk at Monte Vista, I was able to initiate 233 school visits for students who had physical ailments. 76 of those visits resulted in students returning back to class with a whopping total of 528 school hours saved. Students staying in school means parents are not missing out on work and kids are comfortable and healthy enough to remain in school. Hazel Telehealth Services has positively impacted many of our underprivileged students, many of whom are experiencing homelessness in foster care and in high stress or at-risk home dynamics. I stand here before you in great disappointment because my plans for the future was crushed after receiving notification that LVN schedules would change next year to start at 9 a.m. and end at 6 p.m. LVNs, including myself, expressed concern with the new schedule, not only because of the breach of contract with the CSEA bargaining agreement, Article 6.09, but because of the safety risk this would impose on our students and staff. This schedule change would result in a mass exodus of LVNs, which means many sites will not have an LVN available for students needing life-saving procedures and or medications. Diabetic students, for example, may not get the insulin they need, and health clerks will face the health office alone when they average 4,000 to 5,000 visits per school year, a major problem when serious health concerns arise and they can't get to those students. Time and again, our level 1 office staff will have to drop what they're doing just to reduce the health office congestion.
1 minute.
No one is debating extending school hours at 6 p.m. to satisfy the needs of students. We are simply asking that you give us the choice to keep our regular scheduled times so LVNs can be there at the beginning of the school day. We ask that the district have our other solutions to bring to the table, including possibly hiring part-timers to cover the evening hours in accordance to the needs of each site. We've seen that what happens when LVNs decide to leave because of the hours are impossible and the pay is so low. RNs are already responsible for multiple sites to keep up with the demand of creating and implementing IEPs and IHPs. If
20
they have to drop their job duties to complete LVN tasks, the district will lose out on funding for students with special needs. District-wide, there are already employees operating on very limited resources. We even had an LVN take over a teacher's sped classroom the last 3 months of school because we didn't have a consistent teacher. How long will the district keep making decisions that put student staff safety last on the priority list? Please hear us out as we wait patiently to meet with our PSA director to find a better solution. We always ask our kids to make good choices. Now we urge you to please do the same. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Kaylin David.
Can you hear me?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Get in that thing.
How about now? Oh, well. Okay, there we go. All right, good evening, Board of Trustees and District Leadership. I first want to acknowledge and thank you for securing the fairgrounds as a promotion venue. Not only was the location formal and beautifully staged, it allowed students to promote as a whole group. Live streaming the event allowed friends and family to enjoy from anywhere in the world. My 7th grade students loved watching their 8th grade peers' promotion ceremony. It also got them excited for their upcoming final year in our district. This off-campus event also allowed us to have a great end-of-the-year celebration for our remaining 6th and 7th graders. ASB hosted an extended lunch hour with the Kona Ice Truck. All staff were welcome to enjoy first, then two shifts for 6th and 7th grades. Incoming ASB students were present in our tiger mascot costume, helping ensure the line was orderly and safe. And they also hosted a variety of games out on the patio. The students and staff loved a special event to bring positivity and communal time together on the last day. Outgoing ASB students also purchased 40 vouchers for teachers to gift to students who were extra deserving and consistently showing their roar. Their generosity followed them to the last day of school. Tonight, you'll be presented with a first read of an updated dress code policy. As someone who helped facilitate the student voice aspect of this process, I wanted to point your attention to several distinguishing differences in the draft version you have for tonight's review. The revised policy clarifies that the primary responsibility for a student's attire is with their parents and guardians. This aligns with our district belief in personal responsibility and accountability. The second revised policy difference is that there's a specification that dress code choices should sustain a community that is inclusive of a diverse range of identities. This also aligns with our district's mission to provide a high-quality education within an inclusive and culturally respectful environment. Thirdly, the revised policy admonishes administration from disproportionately enforcing the dress code based on identity markers. We know disproportionality affects our students, and this protection is important to protect our most marginalized students. This also aligns with our district's belief of a quality education free of racism and other forms of discrimination.
1 minute.
There's a noticeable shift in the updated draft to move away from disciplinary action and instead provide corrective action. This is important as a progressive step in education, where we move from punitive correction to loving correction done in respectful relationship. As an PBIS and Capturing Kids' Hearts district, we know positive correction, restorative justice practices, and respectful redirection are key components to a positive school climate and a current LCAP focus for our district. As the board reviews the draft tonight, I hope you all notice the nuance and thoughtful student-centered changes proposed. This work involved many key stakeholders in the district, and I'm proud to say that the policy before you is one that honors a safe, inclusive school environment while simultaneously honoring our diverse student body. Thank you for your continuing support of our students in service.
Thank you. More?
That concludes our speaker.
Okay, thank you guys for all your,
Oh, I'm sorry, one more.
whoop, stand by.
Betsy Haslett's here. Apologies.
Come on up, Betsy.
Good evening once again, board. As I left here May 16th, 3 weeks ago, I was stopped twice as I was exiting. The second time was just outside the door by a teacher who had just spoken momentarily before I had. And she introduced herself as Miss David from New Vista Middle School, who is well aware of the student behavioral problems after school at the Walgreens there at Challenger and Avenue K, and other businesses she mentioned. She's going to have a group of students that are interested in the new school year to go, and I don't know what she's planning on doing, but to go to those businesses. The first person was just inside the door is the director of student pupil safety and attendance, Kim Cochran. She had never heard of any of these events I spoke about at the Walgreens, on the east side, and the mobile station on the west side. I had left 2 phone calls the day I first saw the mobile station being closed. I left it at Amargosa Middle School, and I left it at the Lancaster School District office in early December. And she had not heard anything about that. And that Walgreens event, when I had mentioned I was the Medicare agent during the annual enrollment period from October 15th through December 7th, that was actually in 2021. So this Ms. David from New Vista, she's dealing with this currently. This has been going on for over a year and a half. What was really, I emailed Ms. Cochran, and by 2:11 p.m. the following day, she had already contacted the school site staff, and she was next going to the businesses. What was next interesting was that evening on the following day, I went to a volunteer appreciation dinner by the Lancaster Sheriff Department for volunteers. I spoke with Lancaster Sheriff Captain LeCravain, portal to portal. He said portal to portal. It's in the education code.
1 minute.
He says, do they have a PTO or PTA? And I said, they have PTA. He says, they're the ones that ought to be dealing with this. So what gets me is between the emails that I had, the first one was on May 3rd when I first came to the May 2nd meeting with those 2 photographs. And the other ones the day of the meeting, out of 3 email responses, and also may I add a phone call or 2, nobody, no one, not even you all or anybody from the school staffs in the past had even mentioned this director of student safety and pupil safety and
20
attendance.
seconds.
That was the person to deal with it. She was very happy to get on it. At least somebody in the department knows what to do. Please do not retaliate against Ms. Cochran and her department. And maybe I hope that what Ms. David from New Vista would like to do with her students, it would be a great project to have her contact Ms. Cochran and have them maybe do some kind of a student ambassadorship or junior internship on that kind of thing. So this letter that I received at the beginning of coming in tonight,
Your time is,
I don't know why you're all so willfully ignorant of this whole fact of
your
behavior.
time is expired.
Thank you. You did not cut off the other lady who went over.
Anybody else? Yes, we will move on to item 17. We have a consent agenda item, superintendent item 17A through 17B. Anybody want a motion? Moved by Mr. Teepee. Second by Mrs. Starlson. Questions, concerns, clarifications? Probably not. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item 18, we have consent agenda items, business items 18A through 18P. Moved by Mr. Teepee. Second by Mr. Nguyen. Questions, concerns, clarifications, shout outs? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We have item 19. We have consent agenda items, educational service items 19A through 19R. Moved by Mr. Nguyen. Second by Mrs. Grooms. Questions, concerns, clarifications? Thing? Go ahead.
Separate job, yes. So Mr. Bustamante works with our teachers on teacher clarity and instruction in the classroom and goes through all those schools individually with the entire backing of the Corwin Corporation and publishing company. So, and then Mr. Nagel has been working this year with Ms. Thompson in terms of the standards-based report card work and grading system. So he's working specifically on that standards-based instruction and will be working next year in a more limited capacity and helping us in the communication with families and parents on what that means.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns?
Dr. Goins, I asked him that question. He says this is pretty much in comparison to what we've paid in the past.
It is high. I don't think that that's the best use of it, personally.
What do you think? Should we?
It's a
contract ongoing that we've had for a while.
We do appear on that program quite frequently, and it does reach our factions of our community and is well listened to. So it is a very popular show in the community.
I guess we can look into it before it comes up next time, maybe see if there's anything more cost effective. But I know it does reach a lot of our students, parents. So anybody else?
It's a very good program. And Lily has been doing it for quite a while and she's very good at it. I think she's interviewed Dr. Marietti.
Yes.
So, no, she does a great job. It just seemed that price increased significantly from the past. Not just a minor increase, but a significant increase from the past.
What was the past?
I don't have that data. I just had asked Dr. Goins. He said it was within the range.
Should we,
Jerry's going to check right now.
I don't have a problem pulling it till next time. What's that going to cause any grief to them if we don't prove it tonight?
We have a board meeting on the 20th, so if you'd like to pull that.
You guys want to just pull it and have them
Back.
check it and see what they say? Okay.
Revisit it?
Yeah, let's just do that. We'll just pull it for, if that's okay. Do I need a motion to pull it?
Yes, you do.
All right. Anybody want to make a move by Diane to pull? Seconded by Mr. Nguyen to pull.
if we could have information on their,
Last
their, not their bill so much as the outreach and any response. I've never heard anyone say that they've heard about us. I've heard a lot of people say they're interviewed, but I have never heard anybody said that they heard about us or something that was said on the show.
It was close.
It's close.
Okay. All right. Well, we already got a motion and a second to pull that item. You want to vote on that to pull? It was, the motion to pull was from Diane and seconded by Dwayne.
Just a table.
To till next meeting. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0 to table till next week or next time.
And so for clarification, since you have the costs from last year,
Just what the outreach,
and listen.
a little more information.
We'll get you a list of everybody that was interviewed, the number of people, and we'll see if we can pull some, see if they have some data
Okay.
on their listening audience.
It's perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay. Is there any other questions, concerns, clarifications? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0 on the original items. Okay, we're going on to item 20, I believe. Consent agenda items, human resource services, items 20A through 20G. Moved by Mr. Teepee. Second by Mr. Nguyen. And there's a typo on item G. Is that the correct? It's been clarified to fix. Is that correct? Okay. And anybody else have any questions, concerns, clarifications? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0 with the typo corrected on item G. And 21, consent agenda items and innovation and technology services, items 21A through 21D. Moved by Mrs. Grooms. Second by Mrs. Storlson. Okay, questions, concerns, clarifications? Somebody got to ask something. We just do.
I think Rebecca knows.
Yeah.
The reason for the change from Blackboard to Final Site.
So we piloted Parent Square this year at, I think, about 5 schools, and we decided to move all of our schools to Parent Square, which is a mass communication system. We don't need 2 of them, so we're keeping only the website part of that contract and moving completely over to Parent Square.
Okay. Other questions? Wayne, you got another one? Thinking about it, I can tell.
Social school for.
That was my guess that you were going to ask about that one. So this is a contract with a lady who does social branding with schools specifically. She's going to come out and work with our principals and our techs about the best way to brand their school and to produce videos and get that out on their video on their website. Just a way to communicate better with our public. During the year, she's also going to have 8 sessions where they can meet with her and get more ideas on how to improve their social media presence.
Thank you. All right. Anybody got any other hard questions for Rebecca? She's ready, I know. Okay. All right. Well, seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay. Legislative and policy discussion. We have the first reading of update of Board Policy 5132, dress and grooming. And we heard about that. She made really good points. I think that was all valid, I'm pretty sure. And we also have the second reading of 2023-20 through 2026 strategic plan.
So on the dress code, this is the board policy, and then the actual
Yes,
AR will be written separately. We'll be reviewing that as well.
correct. The AR is, the administrative regulation will come next, and that'll be more specific.
Right.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you. And I appreciate all the work that went into that. I know they worked pretty hard on it. So,
I loved involving the students.
okay. And guess, do we have anything else to say about the strategic plan? Okay, I guess we'll move on to comments from the board and superintendent. Mrs. Torlson, we'll start with you today.
Wow. Way to go on the ACEs awards. You know, I especially for the LPAC test examiners, the new lady working with nutrition, making sure that our students are getting what they need. All the nurses from early learning. You know, I just can't reiterate enough that once again we're proving that teamwork makes the dream work. You know, welcome to all of our newcomers to the district, as far as all of our APs. You know, looking forward to meeting them and seeing what they're going to do this upcoming school year. Hope we can get the students some help with the school bus situation, making sure that, you know, they can get here and get what they need. And as far as the LVNs, I do understand that, you know, changing schedule can be a little rough, you know, but I hope that we can find a common ground where we can get together and get everything. Mr. Giles, thank you for your report. Always interesting, you know, and other than that, I attended the graduations. I thought was pretty awesome this year. And that's pretty much it for me.
All right, thank you. We'll go with Mrs. Grooms.
I want to give a special welcome to Julia Kern, Andre Jones, Denisha Tyler, Cheryl Gayfield, and Scott Otis. I think Scott comes from the furthest away. Am I correct?
I believe so.
Where's he coming from? Which one? Mike?
You're gonna put Mike on the spot.
Which state? California one? Okay. So can you tell me the district name again? Janes?
Yeah, they all left. They all went to get ice cream. They got the job.
Okay. Is it Gain or Janes? Janes. Okay. Because there are a million Janesville districts on the web here. So, okay. So he knows California. All right. Anyway, welcome to all of our new assistant principals. That always is such an important transition from teacher to assistant principal. So I really respect that they're taking that leap. We had LCAP and budget in one meeting here, and it's not 11 p.m.
Yeah.
I thank you.
Good
all
job.
for that. Yeah, I saw you nudging.
Good job, Jordan. Yeah.
Jordan, you're getting better. No.
Looking better and getting better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I really love our process of actually attaching budget numbers to the actual strategic plans that we have and our LCAP. And that is my favorite document. But all of these I will devour in the meantime. Already found a typo. And you know I'm reading every word of that, Jordan, because the LCAP truly is our blueprint. And there's so many people involved in doing that. I really want to say thank you because it involves a lot of work all year long. And it has to keep in mind every member of our staff, our student body, and our community as well. So thank you very much for that. And the budget presentation, thank you so much because it's clear. We know we have a very clear understanding of where it's coming from and how it's changed. And I respect that our board policy of having a 6% reserve is close to there for all 3 years. And I know it's a little generous in the first 2 years, but things are happening really fast and crazy. So I respect that. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Nguyen.
Thank you for the ACEs award. Lexi, I know it's your last one. And so thank you for being here for 40 years. And oh, he's got one more. That's right. One more.
We got one more shot at him.
Maybe he'll color his hair for this next one,
No.
or let us color his hair.
Is there something wrong with the color of my?
Not from my point of view.
Yeah, what the heck with a tie? Screw that. Do whatever you want on your way out.
Business
He
casual.
used to wear a dress. Though. He used to dress up. I don't have to anymore.
Business casual.
Summer, we usually go with business casual.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. You say, tell us whatever you want.
But
All right.
thank you. The ACES Award, what I really meant to say were great. The recipients, fantastic. Kelly outdid herself with those ACES Awards. And I'm sure that's what makes, ECE a very strong part of our district. So thank you. And Linda, thank you for staying. The LCAP, Jordan, a big task to undertake. And truly, we're thankful that you're putting it all together for us. We need to have that. It's a very important part of everything we do.
Bless you.
Bless you, yes. Graduations were fantastic. I never made it to the fairground, but I did make it to the east side of Lancaster, to Fulton Allsbury and Linda Birdie and Lava. And I appreciate the help of Kim and Bart in handing out the little
Pieces of paper.
little diploma papers. That was nice of you all to do that. And finally, I just want to know, did Betsy or get this letter?
She had it in her hand.
Absolutely. Yes.
This explains what we've always thought, that it's not the school's responsibility.
Correct.
That's all.
All right, Mr. Teepee.
Did on a lot of everything that was said. Pieces awards were fantastic, and Lexi did an amazing job with that. We're definitely going to miss all your humor and graciousness and everything else. It was great to hear about the LPAC testing. It tested over 2,000 students with 98 to 99% completion. That was incredible. So hats off to them. Amazing job. Also, Dr. Kelly Fountain with the UTK, the setting up the classrooms, that looked amazing. And also just bringing everybody on board and getting them trained in the new procedures and everything. Pretty amazing. And looks like the students are really enjoying that new program. So great to see that. And Dr. Goins, definitely make the LCAP look easy. And so thank you for all your great work and getting that all together. I know it's a year-long process, and so thank you for making it so easy for us to understand too. Budget was fantastic with all the changes and updates. I'm so glad to see that we're good 3 years out and we're keeping our reserve. Fantastic. And also with the nurses, yeah, hopefully we can work something out to help with that. It was good to hear that input. And with that, great board meeting.
All right, thank you. Marietti.
So I just want to be clear that we are not going to retaliate, but we are going to celebrate Ms. Cochran for going above and beyond and addressing the needs of our community members. As we have clarified, local parentis refers to the responsibility of the educational institutions to act as temporary guardians while students are under our care during school hours and school events and activities. The concept does not does not extend to activities or actions or behaviors of students once they leave the school premises. The school district's authority and control is limited to the boundaries of the school premises and the activities under our supervision. But the fact that Ms. Cochran and Ms. David went out of their way above and beyond, we always want to do as much as we can to support our community members and work in partnership with our communities. And so I'm happy, very happy that they went out of their way to support the concerns of our community. So thank you so much. I also want to say congratulations on all of our promoting 8th graders. We had a wonderful time. I also want to congratulate the collaboration of business and continuous improvement as they work towards building that LCAP in that budget. That's great work. And then finally, I'm just going to recognize all the wonderful things that are going on in the summer here in Lancaster School District, including all the summer training that CIA has been putting on, and also all of our summer programs and our summer camps through ELOP and our summer schools that are starting up. We don't stop. It might be business casual, but it's all business. Thank you.
All right. I mean, everybody's got shirts on, so we're good. There's no flip-flops. I look, Brandon still got regular shoes on. We're good. So, and thank you guys all for hanging out the whole board meeting. You did good. We're going to get you out of here by 8 o'clock. So, thanks for coming. I did want to just give a couple things that I guess everybody pretty much talked about promotions. I went to a 5th grade promotion at Monte Vista. That was about the only one I could make because my life is just, it is what it is. But I've been busy and we got a lot of stuff going on. But Monte Vista did a great job. It's kind of ironic that I went to Monte Vista. I've got a kid going there, and one of the teachers there I went to school with at Monte Vista still teaches there. She said she's got one more year. So it's just crazy to see somebody I went to school with teaching there, and then now she's going to retire. So we're getting up there. So my hat's off to her. She looked pretty excited. You may get to that, she's starting like Mr. Conte. Yeah, whatever, it's all good. So with that, I really appreciate the ACES Awards, and we are going to miss that, Mr. Conte. Nobody's going to be able to do it like you. What else did I want to mention? Superintendent evaluation. We said he had a positive. He's doing a good job. I think we did a pretty good job hiring Dr. Marietti. He seems to be doing a great job, and I just wanted to say thanks to him for his effort to do what's best for our district. What else did I want to say? Thanks for our speakers. They all had something good to say. Dress code, good job on that. Really enjoyed hearing from the students and teachers and staff about what we can do. And with that, I did hear great things about promotions. Having it at that's a great idea. I'm gonna make an effort to be there next year. I don't know how I did it, but I double booked myself that day. I had to work the sheriff's department. I was like, what the heck am I, and it's like, oh my gosh. So, so I'm not gonna do that. I'll make sure I'll be there, and I apologize for not being there, but I do miss that. That's a fun thing. I mean, usually I do it with Mr. Conti, and it's when are you gonna get a chance to mess with 8th grade students on the way out? It's pretty fun. So with that, I guess we will close the meeting out. It's 7:50. Let's adjourn, and we don't need to have a new, motion to adjourn. We got one by Mr. Nguyen, second by Diane Grooms, and it's 7:50, and we will, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right.